Okay, so eventually, by the end of the school year, I'll get the hang of the whole there. Okay, so if you're just tuning in, I'm sorry. That's what you get for being late. For those of you guys that are watching the recording. Okay, so a plane. This would be considered a plane. For example, your iPad is also square, right? That's not considered a plane. Obviously, that's a three-dimensional object and it has thickness. Trevor, are you on Canvas on the PowerPoint or are you doing something else? Okay. A desk has thickness. You can actually feel that. Okay, it's in the shape of a plane. It's a definite square, but it does have thickness. Okay, so just be aware of that. Okay, planes, same thing. Okay, they have lots of points. So you could label this plane CBA, but it can also just be labeled plane P. Okay, and that's kind of a lot. Once we start looking at them, hopefully you guys will realize what I'm talking about. Okay, so far we got a point, a line, and a plane. Okay, all good with that or no? Okay. Okay, collinear. Collinear means points that lie on the same line are collinear points. We already talked about a line. How many points are on a line?
A lot.
A lot. A bazillion, million, jillion. Okay, so any points that are on the same line, okay, are collinear. It's just a fancy way to say that they're on the same line. Collinear, or like, what is another cohabitat? That means you guys live together.
Co-environment?
Yeah, okay, there's lots of has meaning to it. Coplanar means points and lines that lie on the same plane are coplanar. Okay, so this piece of paper has points and lines on it. You can't see them, but there's lines that go this way and there's lines that go this way. Okay, they all lie on the same plane. They all lie on the same piece of paper. They're coplanar. I know, it's kind of boring vocabulary so far, huh? I'm well aware.
Wait, was I supposed to write this down?
Nope, you're good.
Okay.
Okay, so here's our first example. As always, I'm going to do some of the worksheet for you, and some of you guys are going to do it by yourself, okay? So, right here we have this plane, this big square, it's our plane, and we have some lines that go through the plane, okay? That's no different than we have this piece of paper, and you stick a pencil through it, okay, which I can totally do. You stick a pencil through it, okay? We have a line and a plane, okay? So it says how many points are on there? Name them. Now, in this example, there actually is a bazillion million, but we only have so many labeled. So what is a point on this plane?
Point A? No.
So for example, how many points are there? So we can count them. We got 1, okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 points, okay? So how many points are there? 6. And it says to name them. As you can see, I only circled the ones that have a dot on them, okay? So that is a distinction to let you know that's a point. You wait, right? Okay. No, you're not even on campus. Come on.
Wake up! I was just listening.
Yeah.
I was just listening.
Bree's sleeping, everybody, in case you wanted to know.
Wake up, Bree!
Why are you so hyper? You're not supposed to have energy drinks in the morning.
I did.
He always does,
Wait, who
even when
is
he was in
that?
school.
This is what he's doing. Wake up!
Wait, who was it?
Who do you think?
Download that air horn
Yeah.
app. Who is it?
Okay, so what is one of the names of the points that are on here that I circled?
T.
Huh?
T.
T is one. What else?
R.
R,
Q.
Q,
S.
S, M, V. Okay, there's 6 points. We labeled 6 of them. Okay, it's not too bad.
So basically, we labeled all 6 points.
Yep. And I'm going to erase this part, just an FYI, so. Okay, it says how many lines are there total? Name them. Okay, we can kind of see how many lines are there.
A lot?
There's 2. Okay, there are 2 lines. Here's a line and here's a line. Now, here's where it gets tricky, and I'm pretty flexible. Okay, it says to name them. So let's look at this first line, the one that goes up and down. Okay, so one of them, see how there's like a little m and then the rest are capital letters? Okay, you can name this line M. And it should have, that's the notation that means line, okay? You draw the letter and then you draw a little bitty line on top, okay? I would probably make the next one,
Okay.
just to, yeah,
I'm doing that right now.
the second and third one. The third one she's gonna do, but the second one I'm gonna do, so. Okay, so we can also name this line, and this is where you kind of just gotta run through the options. NQ, because those are both points on the line, or TN, so we could say oh my gosh, TQ. That's another way to label this particular line. We could also label it QN. Okay, we could also label it TN. Those both are still on the same line. Okay, or when we talked about this, we can do it in reverse. We could say NT. That also is the same line. Okay, did I miss any? So we got Q, T. Oh, I guess you can write it as, instead of TQ, you can write QT. TQ, you can write QN, NQ. So we're gonna talk about, no. But you can. And so here's the tricky thing. So if I give you a problem and it says, you need to be able to understand that one particular line can have many, many names, okay? And many, many different ways to write it. So you need to be able to understand. So sometimes, will you have to do this on every problem? Absolutely not, okay? But I want you to understand that that's a lot of different ways just to write this first line. Okay, and I don't even know that I labeled them all. NQ, QN, NT, TN, QT. Okay, so that's just for that line. Okay, so for example, there's 3 points. Okay, that means we have 7 ways to label one line. Do I need you to write them all? No. Do you need to be able to understand how to pick and read them? Absolutely, okay? So if we looked at the second line, you could label it RS, QS, SQ, SR, line L. Okay, there's lots of different ways to even label this second line. Okay? Yes, sir.
What's the E?
What's the E?
That's enough.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an L. So this is where I was writing the struggle bus. I had to like take the book and then take pictures on my phone and then try to upload them on a PowerPoint because I don't have any of this stuff saved, and as you guys know, I've never taught or normally teach geometry, so. Okay, now it says, is there another way to name QT? So here we got QT.
What about TQ?
Absolutely. Okay, we can name it TQ. What else? What's another name we can name that line? So we're looking at this whole line, and we just went through it. What's another way we could name this line?
NTQ? No.
Well, yes, but they should only have 2 letters.
NQ?
NQ. We could also label it NQ.
NT?
NT. Perfect. And the list goes on and on and on. As we already know, there's 7 different ways to label that line, okay? And I'm gonna erase some of my work over here so that way you guys can see it, don't get too messy. Okay, what are 2 other ways you could rename the plane? P. So planes are kind of hard to label. Okay, the most obvious one is, see how this P is just sitting out here? It has no point, it has no, that's the name of the plane. Okay, so this says, what are the 2 ways could you name plane P? Obviously this thing is called plane P. Now you have to pick 2 points that are on a line and 1 point that's off on a plane. Okay, so if we pick 2 points that are on the same line, we can name the plane RS, or no, RQ,
What about QR?
Okay, because RQ lies on the same line, and then you pick one point that's on the plane. In this case, there's only one of those, V. So that's one way you could rename this plane rather than just point P, or plane P, okay? So it says, what are the two ways? So what's another, we need 2 points off the same line,
QSV.
QS, and then you just pick a random point that's on the plane, which we only have one, and it's V.
Can I try to, how about SVQ?
SVQ would work, okay, so we could say SQ, it'd really be SQV,
What is wrong with me
okay?
today?
So, and then it says, what are the names of 3 collinear points? So, what's collinear mean?
On the same line?
On the same line, so we gotta look at one line at a time, and they want us to name 3 collinear points. So if we just look at this line right here, okay, you could say RQS. Okay, and it wants us to name 3 more, so we could go this way instead. Say SQR.
What about RF? Oh, wait, you already said that one.
Okay, and if you, on the flip side, if you wanted to look at this line, okay, you need 3 points that lie on the same line, so you could say TQN. Or you could go the other way and say NQT.
What about NS and R?
N, S, and R. Close, those are off on, they're not all 3 on the same line.
Dang it.
You're right. Okay, and then it says, what are the names of 3 coplanar points? What's coplanar mean?
On the same plane?
They all on the same plane, which means the only points that you cannot use are ones that are, I don't want to say in this square, but that are not in the square. So you cannot use these ones and these ones. So just pick 3. Okay, 3 inside of that square. So you could say RQV. We could say QSV. And somebody give me one more.
SVQ?
SVQ, perfect.
Have I been cursed with good luck or something? This is weird. This not
Trevor, you've been working?
It's almost my birthday.
Yes, ma'am. It's not yet, but it is right now, this one.
Say it again.
The, I forgot what you asked me. No, I forgot what you asked me.
Oh, the PowerPoint.
Oh,
That
oh.
you're showing today, if you have it on Canvas,
Yes.
I can log in and get it ready for Sammy. If it's not on Canvas, just email it to me, because it's a lot easier to copy and paste it into the program than it is to type it out.
So do you want it as a PDF or as a PowerPoint?
As a PowerPoint would be better.
Okay, so I can send you this week's and part of next week's all at once.
Perfect, that would be great, because I can get that all ready for her and just have it out
Okay. Yeah.
when you're doing this. That would be
Okay.
perfect.
I'm sorry that I'm doing so well.
Oh, gosh. Gosh. Okay, let's look at the next one.